This is a symmetrical shot. Name the director that uses this in 3, 2, 1.
You see, there are still faint glimmers of civilization left in this barbaric slaughterhouse that was once known as humanity.
Wes Anderson, correct, well done. A fantastic director. The balls are back in town, the balls are back in town. Dum. We did it, team. 10 years on steroids, come off, and the balls are back. Testosterone is pretty much back as well. Well done, firm handshakes. If you missed that video where I discussed me being on anabolics for 10 years and then coming off cold turkey, it will be up here. I'm not gonna lie, I feel great. I feel great. Like, I feel better now than I've ever felt when I'm on gear. I suppose because it's all natural now. And the blood work is obviously, seeing the blood work and seeing all those greens. There hasn't been a time in the last 10 years where I've got bloods done through Medichecks and it's been all green. So it's been like majority greens, a few reds, all green. Yes, knew I could do it. Get me out of this shithole. Today's Friday, we've got Hyrox next Saturday, so it's our last sort of session today. What I said to Jade is let's do a half Hyrox today, so 4 by 1K at like a 5 pace, and then the work in between of which we find the hardest. So burpee broad jumps are a nightmare, wall balls, ski, and then sled push. So we'll do that. Then I've got a long run on Sunday, but I think we'll do that in the morning. Arsenal United Sunday, big game. Join me for another weekend of fun with TM Cycles. Right, we're back. You stay there, JP. Don't want to repeat it last week. This is our final session before Hyrox is next Saturday, so this is our final one. I've got another long run on Sunday, and then I think we're supposed to be tapering anyway. So just, I don't know what that means. I know what it means, but I don't know what entails on that week, whether or not we're still training or just completely off. So today we're going to essentially imitate half a Hyrox, do 4 by 1K, and then in between those 1Ks we're going to do the work that we struggle the most with, and then we're also going to share that load. So on the day for the ski and row, I essentially take the majority of the workload, so I'll be doing 3 by 200, Jade will be doing 2 by 200, sled same 30 metres for me, 20 for Jade. We'll split the burpee broad jumps because I hate them and Jade's good at them. And then with the wall balls, again, we're pretty good on those, and it's the very last movement on the day, so we'll split 50-50 and then just do 10 wall balls a piece. So we shall crack on.
I'll let you take a piece of me. I hope you get the piece you need. And if that's not enough, I'll let you go piece for me.
Okay, it's all booked in, 10 past 2. The Barnet is coming off. I'm getting rid, folks. It's been long, for too long. Quite like it today though, am I going to regret this? Oh God. 2023 is a year of change, I'm going to embrace it. I'm thinking of going high and tight fade, get this off, maybe a little bit, I mean it's just a tiny amount, just to play with on the top. I think I'll look alright, I think I'll be able to pull it off. There's only a couple of people I trust for my hair. One of them is my ex-girlfriend's brother. Bit of a sticky one. That ain't gonna work. Well, he's in America anyway, it's not as if he's down the road. Secondly, the geezer called Alex at Antonio's in Hayes, who I've been going to during the summer, who did a really good job on my hair. So, here we go.
You've been the best of times to walk me through my darkest days.
You ready? I feel like 2019 TM Cycles is back. Savage, dangerous. I like it. Big up Alex for that one. Got a little bit more to go in terms of growing the side so we get a more even fade. Aerodynamic. Feel better, feel lighter already, do you know what I mean? I feel like I'm gonna do sub-hour Hyrox, 58 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Get out my way. Going up the Arsenal tomorrow as well. Fucking hell. Legend. Hurt his goats. I think that pony's frozen.
My darkest day, I'm not feeling sorry. You've been the best at times to walk me through my darkest days. Why must I turn around? I ask myself, this just ain't fair. Hard to bear.
Very, very good result for the boys. Today's video is a reverse transformation. So I have a question here from a subscriber. Tom, any chance of a 14 week? It'll be about a 16 week because that's the amount of time that we're sort of working with. Any chance of a 14 week reverse transformation video? It'd be interesting to see how coming off and lack of resistance training has affected your physique. They've got like 25 likes, so let's do it. Someone also comment underneath that about strength, which I really want to tap into as well. So just to, again, give a bit of background, in around about August, September time, I decided to come off TRT completely. And that decision was made because I wanted to make a slight transition in my training. So I went headfirst into a Hyrox prep, hired a coach, Jade Skillam, who programmed all of my work and training sessions leading up until my Hyrox session end of January. Just to give an example of what a week would look like and how different it would be compared to like my old school bodybuilding days, which was like a push, pull, legs, rest, upper, lower, rest, or like a quads, delts, triceps, posterior, very bodybuilding orientated, physique development orientated. This is an example of what a week would look like. So Monday would be a strength session. Tuesday will be some isolated work, so like a sled push or a sled pull. Wednesday would be skill set plus conditioning. Thursday I'd have off. Friday would be some interval work, be it on the rower or the ski or the treadmill. Saturday would be compromised aerobic work, so that would be like strength work going into some form of aerobic work. And then Sunday would be my zonal 2 run, so my longer distance, lower heart rate, 60 to 80 minutes on the feet. And that is what my training looked like pretty much consistently on a week by week basis. Now, in terms of how my physique looked, the closest thing that I could find on my phone in terms of how my physique looked prior to going to this sort of training would be this. This is my end of summer physique, is what I want to call it. Very much still kind of focused on physique development, but it was at a time whereby I was adding in conditioning work toward the tail end of the session. So things like a 15 or 20 minute AMRAP whereby I'd have a calorie goal, a weekly calorie goal. Because I was dieting during that time leading up to Ibiza in the end of summer, my cardio consisted of me having a 300 or 400 calorie goal, and as opposed to me doing low intensity work like a 40-minute Stairmaster session, it would be done by or via like a 20-minute AMRAP or like a Metcon or something like that. So this is the sort of condition that I'm really happy with. It wasn't shredded, it wasn't really lean kind of post, obviously not post-show where we're using all the drugs under the sun, but it was a condition that I'm quite happy with. What I plan to do this summer when we enter our dieting phase in March, so March 6th, which is the start of the Ibiza Classic Challenge, is to gain a better level of condition. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump downstairs, and to answer this question, how are we looking, we can try as best as possible to compare our physiques and generally take a look at what is a sort of shape that I'm at now, which is the 3rd of February, Friday the 3rd of February. Hyrox is finished, we're all done and dusted. Let's have a little look. Okay, so here we go. This is us at the moment. I feel a little soft, I feel a little doughy, I feel a little underbaked, you know? I feel like we need to get put in the oven, just crisp up a little bit. 88 kilos at the moment. Oh my God, my chest is so tight. From that session with Joe. Oh. Yeah, like I said, what we're grabbing here? We're grabbing chunks, mate. We've got Kit Kat chunkies around the waist. But this is how we are. I feel alright. I feel like I'm alright. You know what I mean? I'm ready to get going again. Okay, so that is where we are at the moment, 1 week post Hyrox. I'm happy, pretty content with the way I look, particularly taking into consideration what's happened over the last 16 weeks. I did receive a few videos from Hyrox and images and look at my physique and think, I'm not really in love with myself. And I mean that in a non-narcissistic way. I think it's important that we love the skin that we're in, but I'm happy and content because I know, due to my vast knowledge and previous experience in bodybuilding, that I can achieve a physique that I'll be happy with in the summer. I think we have to lower the bar a little bit. I think the post-show Marbella physique that I go on about is pretty unattainable, but I will strive for greatness and try and get as close to that as possible. And I think now that we are completely natural, we've gone from blasting and cruising into a TRT, off gear, and have now recovered, I'm really excited to document that and show people as well my journey, I suppose. And I certainly feel that we'll be in somewhat of a super compensation effect, in the sense that I've been somewhat detrained from resistance training, and we know from research that when we elicit resistance training in untrained individuals, they get a very positive response. Not saying that I'm going to mimic someone who has never lifted a dumbbell or barbell in their life, but the fact that I've almost been out of action for 16 weeks, I think will do me well in terms of physique development in this next block. So I'm really excited to see that. I really want to get a DEXA scan done before and after, because I think I'll be in a position whereby I will regain some tissue whilst losing body fat, which will be really cool and interesting. I haven't completely natty dieted since, I want to say, like Malia, my second or third lad's holiday. So the first time I ever had abs, I was like, fuck it now, I've got abs. I used to walk up and down the strip with my shirt off. It was terrible. But that's what we're going back to now. So I'm really excited to see how my body changes, being naturally, making manipulations to food and training and things like that. I just want to highlight the point of me saying I've been detrained. There's still going to be some form of stimulus being applied to my tissue with this style of training. It's not as if my training from Monday through to Sunday was just running. Yeah, it's not like I've been doing sprints, runs, interval work. I've still been lifting. It's not been the same sort of resistance training as I'm used to. Me and Joe had to almost rewire our minds completely. It was like an ongoing joke at March On, because we have been wired and conditioned for so long to focus on eccentric control, pause, and concentric. That goes out the window when you train functional, because you are essentially trying to get from A to B. Their interpretation of form is slightly different to our interpretation of form. So it took some time to get used to those new movements. That is still eliciting a response. It's not as if that is not going to have any effect on tissue. I think if you're on it when it comes down to nutrition and smart with the way that you train, i.e. adding in some form of hypertrophy within that style of training, you can probably do a good job at maintaining tissue. I was really fixated and focused on my performance for my runs. If I'm being completely honest with you, and if Jade is watching, I do apologise, some of those strength sessions I'd look at and I wouldn't do, because I was so worried that I'd go into Hyrox unfit that I would turn that Monday strength session into like a treadmill sprint session. So in terms of the actual direct lifting I did, it was very minimal over the last 16 weeks. It started well at the start, in the beginning, but towards the end, as I got closer to Hyrox, I was like, I think I'm going to struggle here. So I was doing lots of 5Ks. I'd go out and do a 5K around the block and things like that, just to keep that aerobic capacity being built. And that is an element that I still want to keep in now. I kind of still want to continue to have somewhat of an engine. I say engine. You've got the March On boys that have got like V8 Hummer engines, and I've got like a Peugeot engine. It's all right. I drive a Peugeot. I like a Peugeot. But I don't want to lose that, because I think this is by far the fittest I've been. Got some numbers here because someone did ask about strength. So in October, Jay got me to do some 1RMs. Deadlift, bench, squat, and strict press. Deadlift was 180 key, bench was 110 key, squat was 140, and then strict press was 70. Not hugely impressive, but retested in December time, and there was a big drop in strength. And December was definitely by far my hardest month when coming off TRT. Deadlift dropped 20 kilos. So 160. Bench, I dropped 5 kilos, so 105. Squat, I dropped 15 kilos, so 125. And then strict press, I held 70 kilos. That was the only consistent. So big deductions in strength, but my performance was on the up. Sprint sessions improved. My 5K, I managed to drop like 3 minutes, got from a 28-minute to a 25-minute 5K. So from a performance standpoint, I was very strong. From a strength standpoint and physique kind of things, probably lost tissue, probably lost strength as well. So I hope that can give you guys and girls an insight into my kind of reverse transformation over the last 16 weeks. Like I said, I'm very excited and looking forward to seeing what we can do in the upcoming Ibiza Classic and my dieting phase. We've got about 4 or 5 weeks before that diet starts, so I'm using this period of time to get my body used to resistance training again. I'm very sore. I did push with Joe on Wednesday, and this is Friday now, and it's sore to touch. I feel like I'm going back into the gym for the first time, but I know that response recovery will kick in very, very soon. And then we'll probably be in a position whereby I've agreed a certain amount of volume per body part to begin with, and then the diet begins. Looking forward to it. So there we go. Any further questions? If you think I've missed anything about the last 16 or so weeks of resistance training, do drop me a message. If not, enjoy your weekend. I know it's already been and gone. Hope you had a good weekend. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you, good night. Much love.